All right, looks like everyone should have permission to record. As always, please use your raise hand function to ask any questions. We have about 20 minutes and we'll get to as many questions as possible. Chris Bills, go ahead.
Thanks, Laura. Hi, Josh. I've been talking to some people about the end of this season, and obviously there's still an outside chance to make the playoffs if a lot of things break. But there's been some people asking me if you're going to put emphasis on the two remaining Texas matches. There's a chance to win a trophy there that the fans think is very important. I guess is that a priority for you guys toward the end of the season, and what are the priorities for you guys as you look at these last 6 games?
Yeah, the priority is good performances, continuing performances like we had on Saturday. I think it's going to take the whole group, but we have a batch of games, and again, the breakdown of those games is different than some of these 3-packs that we talked about. So we'll be utilizing the best guys available as possible. And you mentioned playing Dallas and Houston, and those are games that we got to go in and go after. And those are our in-state rivalries, and they got the better of us in the last one. So there's certainly some plenty of emotion that we're going to need to bring, and intensity that we're going to need to bring to those games. But we also have good opponents. We have Minnesota, we have Portland, we have Kansas City. So these are great opportunities. There's still an outside chance for us. And right now we're focusing on the next game against Minnesota. Not right now, but we'll start building into focusing on Minnesota. And that's what we'll steer our attention towards. But it's about good performances, making this group and preparing this group in best possible manner. And again, using the best available players for every one of those games. And if we're able to use all the same ones, fair enough. But we got to take it game by game and obviously look to get good performances and good results.
Is there value to you though in treating those remaining Texas matches like almost like playoff games where there is a trophy on the line, even though I know it's not one of the trophies that you'd prefer to maybe play for, but I think the fans see it that way. Is that how you see it?
I think those games and the rest of these games should be treated that way. This is playoff time of the year. You can see the intensity in the games. You can see the refs letting the play go a little bit more. That's what it starts to look like. It's good for our guys, domestic and internationals, guys that haven't been part of our league, to see and feel what it looks like right now coming down the stretch. And we're going to have, again, very good opponents that are fighting for playoffs, fighting for playoff position, like us as well. And then in-state rivalry games. Dallas and Houston are in similar positions as us. They're on the outside looking in. And for us, there's a level of intensity and emotion and certainly a little bit of revenge that we have to have in mind when those games come. But the first and foremost is getting the mindset right, the mentality right. And again, I think those things have been much better in the last 3 or 4 games. Now, obviously, the Colorado game was a disappointment, but there's a lot of positives that we're going to continue to build on, and that's what we're looking forward to in certainly the remaining 6 games.
Thank you, Josh. Next up, Tyler Feldman with KView.
Hey, Josh. Stretch aside for your team, your thoughts on the importance of tomorrow's U.S. men's national team match in Austin at Q2 Stadium to continue to grow the excitement of the sport here in Texas and Austin and in the country.
Yeah, it should be a proud moment for the state of Texas and certainly the city of Austin. You have the national team here for a qualifier, and I know we're all excited about it. We're soccer enthusiasts, and this city is full of soccer enthusiasts, and this is a great opportunity to get out in front, nationally to be on stage again for our stadium and certainly our fan base. And to support our U.S. men's national team. They're looking to qualify for the World Cup. It doesn't come easily. It doesn't come quickly. It comes by competing and match by match. And the next one in front of us is Jamaica, which is a very good, difficult opponent that will have its own level of confidence playing against us. They know how we want to play, and they have some ways that can hurt you, but our guys will be up for it. And having our fans and certainly the support, the energy, the atmosphere right is critical. These home matches and qualifying are critical. And if you get the points at home, it makes life a lot easier on the qualifying process.
Thank you. Next up, Bob Ballou.
Hey, Josh, I'm curious. Obviously, there have been a lot of frustrations this season, but in the last month or so, have you felt a shift in your players, in the guys around you and the staff of just maybe this is starting to come together and you're starting to feel a little bit of what you were hoping to feel when you started this originally?
Yeah, I think it's, it's a balance of certainly how things have gone and expectation and perception. I think we lost Matt Beasler, and again, we lost a little bit of our ability to play out of the back and be calm in those moments. We also lost a little bit of calm and decision making. We've given up, I think, 24 goals in the 7 or 8 games that he's been out, where we only gave up, I think, or maybe we gave up 24 in the first 20 games of the year, and we've given up around 20 plus since he's been out. So that's been a significant hit. On the offensive side, it's been much better. Obviously, the addition of Sebastian Giussi and certainly Musa now getting fit and being a real reference point as a striker helps put everyone else in good positions. And our offensive qualities and our ability to generate opportunities and score more goals has been on display. So things to work on both sides of the ball. But I think our group is certainly, more aware and more pleased with how it's looked. Certainly games like LA, certainly games like Salt Lake. And even moments against San Jose, we kind of lost it at the end there, but the understanding of what it needs to look like, the physicality, the intensity, but also the discipline of each match. And those things are certainly getting better. And, I think there's lots to build on. There's certainly things that we'll reflect on where we needed to make better decisions or have a different setup, but we'll learn from that and get better in the off season.
Thank you. Next up, Jorge Turalde.
Hi, Josh. I was checking on the MLS situation with the team. Do you think they don't treat Austin, the team as they should? Because like bad referee calls week after week after week, and then you had a perfect game on Sunday. And I think on Saturday, I'm sorry. And I think the team may deserve more than just Cecilio on the team of the week.
Yeah, the individual honors and that come from good performances are nice, and I think Cecilio deserved it. I think we had good performances throughout the week from a lot of guys, but I won't get too caught up with the refereeing. We've talked about it enough, where we've been on the wrong side of it enough, and others would argue maybe we've been on the right side of it in other situations. But I said what I said. I meant it, and you can't change it now, but it's certainly worth talking about. Respect in our league, you get respect by performances, you get respect by consistency, and those are things that we got to continue to get better at and work on. And I think our guys have again, we've put a lot into the last month, and obviously trying to stay very positive and certainly continuing to guide and teach. And I think the guys have responded in a really good way. And again, the last 6 games of the year is going to be also a great opportunity for us to see these teams are now, along with us, fighting for playoff spots, fighting to get into the playoffs, fighting to solidify position. And these games come with a real intensity, and the refereeing will also adjust as you get closer to the playoffs. So those are also things that guys need to experience and take note of. But the players and certainly the staff are in a good place, and we just got to continue to progress and look for our next best performance, which hopefully will be against Minnesota in about a week and a half.
Any special celebration for inside the team for Cecilio's team of the week call?
No, we've had a few guys that have made team of the week, and we're pleased for him. Again, I think his performance was pretty good on the day. I think we had other very good performances. He was able to capture the goals, which is a product of the group. And again, I know he understands that. He was rewarded for obviously arriving in good spots, but Sebastian was fantastic. Diego, again, I think I think Hector and Z did a great job, and Tomas and Alex were very buttoned up and professional in midfield, and it made it challenging for Salt Lake. And obviously it's nice to have CC get to grab some individual honors, but we are very much aware it's about the collective.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, John Lupo.
Hey, Josh. So the U.S. men's national team is going to be playing Jamaica at the Q2. So can you just talk, being that you also in your playing days played for the national team, can you just talk about the pride that you feel that the men's national team is going to be playing at the Q2, with how far this franchise in that regard has come in such a short amount of time, and this being the U.S. men's national team's first ever World Cup qualifying match in the state of Texas, and it's at your stadium?
Yeah, again, I mentioned it before. I think it's a great honor. I think our community should should feel that honor and certainly that responsibility to come out and provide the best support and the best energy. And I expect us to. Our fans and our community have taken us in such an unbelievable way. I expect that to be there for the men's national team. It is, whether it's the men's national team or the women's national team. It's a great opportunity to have the best, best players in the country here representing the United States, trying to qualify for the World Cup. And those things don't come easy, and this game won't be easy. And having the experiences of playing in these qualifiers or playing in World Cups, you got to play yourself into this game. There's a level of intensity and combativeness that these games come with. And you got to manage the certainly the beginning stages of the game to again, it can always teeter and hinge on moments, but making sure the mentality and certainly the understanding of what the entire game is going to look like is quite important. I think that's why it was good to see our guys have to fight and grind through those first 3 games. They're going to come in with certainly a real precise focus as to what's going to be needed in this game. And then they also have to be able to execute offensively. Goals change games, and you could see when they get goals, man, it comes and the belief and the intensity changes. But they also have to be aware of some of the dangers that Jamaica possess. They're a confident group. They have certainly some speed. And I know they're going to be missing a couple guys, but they'll still have guys that are hungry and confident that they can hurt us. So it'll be an entertaining game to watch.
Also, since you have a bit of time off and you'll be able to, I'm sure, take the game in yourself, are you going to mention this to the players? Do you think the players will watch? You mentioned in a different regard a couple of minutes ago about being able to teach. Do you think that with your own prior experience and now some of the guys maybe seeing the men's national team up close, do you think that there'll be some things you can, depending on how the game goes, of course, be able to take from the game and help apply to your own team? That'll be teaching moments. Do you think there'll just be some elements maybe you can transfer over to Austin?
Yeah, I think again, I think there's always good moments for players. I think they can typically sit and watch and for the entertainment value and the aesthetics of it. And that's obviously something. When I watch it, I look again for probably more what's happening, what each team is looking to achieve. I remember watching us play against Qatar here as well. And Qatar played a 5-3-2. And I immediately was looking at what their structure was like. How are we trying to break them down and utilize some of the positional ideas, but how did you get access to certain areas? So for me, that was, as a coach, that's kind of what I'll always be looking for. But you want your players to enjoy it, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the intensity of it. And if they see and opportunities to learn from it, again, I'll bring some of that back to the players. But it's a real, it's a great opportunity to have this game here. And whether it's our domestic players or internationals, I think it's nice to be able to be inside the stadium and not take part in the game, but be able to be part of the crowd, and certainly the energy and the support that is much needed for this game.
Thank you. Next up, Mark Turner.
Hey, Coach.
Hello.
It was obvious in the match on Saturday you had a really strong starting 11, but you also had strength on the bench as well. Stroud, Gallagher, Pereira, of course, Beasler wasn't able to be involved. So you're developing a nice core of kind of 15, 16 guys. And I'm sure there's still potential in the guys beyond that. But I also know this is kind of a perpetual process. Yeah. So I'm wondering, have you already begun turning your mind a little bit to next season as well in regards to recruitment, thinking about what you might need? And where do you think those areas, which areas of the field do you feel like you need additional quality, strength, and depth?
Yeah, I think, we talk certainly. Our director of scouting, Manuel Junco, Claudio, myself, Sean, Rubio, we talk about the ideas of what we need for next year without a doubt. And there were some gaps that we've seen along the way. We've had some injuries that have illustrated some of those gaps, but we need some speed and physicality along the back line, and we need another central midfielder. Tomas has been doing a great job. Pepe's done a good job there. He's a first-year player that has gotten great experience, and again, I think has tons of potential. But we also need, again, depth is something that's critical in our league, and the league, the scheduling comes along. There's going to be other competitions throughout the year as well. So making sure that we have enough depth. Obviously, Matt's been injured for a number of games now, but another center back, certainly a fullback, and certainly a center mid to help provide cover and intensity, speed, ball winning in the middle of the field, ball winning along the back line. Those are things that I think we've seen. When we play extremely well and we're fresh, we have that ability, but games come quick, and you need some variety. You need certainly depth to be able to make the 3 games in a week, and those are things we'll look to add to it. But we have a good, we feel we have a good base, and we're certainly going to need to enhance that in some ways in the offseason.
And a quick question regarding the US men's national team. Obviously, it's exciting they're here in Texas and in Austin. It's kind of inspiring. And as I think about the inspiration they provide, I'm wondering, have the academy players had any opportunity to kind of be proximate to the US men's national team, see them train, have that kind of engagement at all?
I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. The national team has been here. We saw them here the couple days that we were here previously, but I'm not sure what the academy previously, maybe. I'm not sure. This event, this time around, I don't think they've been, the academy has been around, but maybe when they played Qatar, there was some level of maybe some interaction, but they try to be pretty buttoned up with where they are, and certainly sticking to their protocols that they need to for COVID as well. And you know, we're excited to have them here in the training center. I think they've really enjoyed the space, and certainly the utilization of it, almost treating it like a club level, where they're able to be here in the morning, have lunch here, do their cooling down utilization of, you know, the entire performance center, as we were able to be out of the space for a couple of days for them. So I think that was nice. It's always good to see how they perform. It's a well-oiled machine. So from setup to conclusion, it's always interesting for me. I've been part of it, but it's nice to see it from the outside as well, how they run the sessions, how they review it, and just the detail behind it. So it's always nice to be around.
Cheers, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you. Looks like we have time for one more question. Chris Bills, go ahead.
Yeah, Josh, on the topic of the national team, I know there's a strong desire from ownership and the business side to make this a home, not just for this game, but down the road for important U.S. matches. And having been on the sporting side at both the club level and with the national team, you know, have you had a chance to talk to Greg about the setup here in Austin? And you know, how involved were you in, or like, can you kind of describe a bit of the involvement of you know, what he has and the coaching staff has in picking those venues, and also what can you guys do from a club level to make them feel welcome? And you're mentioning kind of handing over the facility, the keys to the facility to them, but you know, what else can you guys do to make them feel welcome and to make good on that desire from ownership to make this a home for them down the road?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough to make a club a home for the national team. I think they've done a great job of utilizing some of these new facilities, these new stadiums, these new soccer cities of sorts, and that's part of what U.S. soccer is about. It's again bringing this life to every city as possible. We had a great opportunity, obviously, to make the place accessible, the St. David's Performance Center, more accessible based on our schedule. So that was also a nice benefit to them. But anytime they're setting up schedules, I mean, certainly it's 3 games in a week for them. So there's things that they got to work in. The parameters that they have to work inside and out of are really tight. So I think it worked out and lined up really well for this. We're hopeful down the road that we can continue to be a city, and certainly a site that that U.S. soccer continues to come for, whether it's the men's team or the women's team. But it's exciting. It's exciting to have those guys around. And again, the qualifying for the World Cup is never given. We know that. And you know, this phase has come with its bit of roller coaster. But again, when you're at home and having fan bases, having real support, having real energy goes a long way to pushing the team to getting good results and good performances. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the game against Jamaica. And when you make do on that, I think it makes the believability that these teams will return. And of course, we have a relationship with Greg, and but that may not always be the case. You know, you may not always have a relationship with the head coach, and you still want this to be a place that's is desirable for all the other reasons as well. The facility here at the training center, the stadium, the fans, and ultimately the results. I mean, if we can help them get the results, that's what it's about.